Gotcha. Hello. Welcome to another video. Today I am going to be going through some of my special interests in the form of the things that are on my lovely shelf. Not this shelf, that shelf, because every year after Christmas I usually have new objects that I want to put on my shelf. Christmas and gifting and all that. So I have recently completely reshuffled that shelf and it looks much better now in my opinion. And I was posting about it on Instagram the other day and I was like, well, why don't I just post about it on here as well and talk about it? Because I love the things on my shelf. They're just pretty much all my special interests, but I love them and I want to talk about them. So here we go.
Shout out to the dinosaurs, shout out all the raptors.
I got my stuff. I'm back and I have objects. First things first, the creature. He does this. Got a crazy head game. I bought him a while back. It's one of the Jurassic Park toy thingies. But I like him because I'm a big fan of marine reptiles from prehistoric eras. This is my shelf. You can see they're broken up into little boxes, 8 boxes. And this is my shelf that is general prehistoria. It's not really contained to any area. There's stuff here from the Pleistocene, there's stuff here from the Mesozoic, so it's not really contained to any era specifically. So here's my Nodosaurus. And he goes along with a big stack of books. It's actually 4, it's not that big, but they're heavy books. And here's a dinosaur little game that one of my good friends got me for my 18th birthday, I believe. Just a little dinosaur game. And it goes, whoosh. Just a little one you can get from the $2 shop, but it's whimsical and it's funny. I think it's silly. Here is a book by Miles Kelly Publishing, called Prehistoric Life. I've had this since I was a child. I've had a lot of these books since I was a child because, I was that kid. I was so into dinosaurs. I was probably so annoying about it. Oh my God. It was like actually a problem. But, I have a lot of these books. This isn't necessarily about dinosaurs. There is a significant portion of it that is about dinosaurs, but you can see they have Australopithecus pictured there. This is one of my favorite books, The Complete Book of Dinosaurs. It is, in fact, not complete because it was produced in, probably the 2000s, which means, I don't know when this book was produced. Printed in China, so I know that. And it's got a lot of dinosaurs in it. The no doy. But yeah, it's got a lot of beautiful dinosaurs in there. I think some of the creatures in here aren't actually dinosaurs because, dinosaur is a bit of a catch-all term now. A lot of these are probably a lot of flying reptiles and marine animals in here that aren't actually dinosaurs. But, you've got Giganotosaurus. You're supposed to say it Giganotosaurus, even though a lot of people pronounce it Giganotosaurus. I really don't give a shit. Pronounce it however you want, though. Carcharodontosaurus, another one of my favorites. Where's Kralophosaurus? Where's Kralophosaurus? I'm going to find Kralophosaurus because I want to speak about Kralophosaurus in this video. Stewie. Kralophosaurus, 103. What about the Stewie Peter? Brian, Stewie. I have a Kralophosaurus. Ugh. I have a Kralophosaurus. I also have photos with a Kralophosaurus skeleton in the Museum of Auckland in New Zealand because Kralophosaurus was discovered in Antarctica. Originally would have originated from Gondwana back in old Pangaea days where New Zealand, Australia and Antarctica were really connected. So there were, Kralophosaurus found in New Zealand. And they are beautiful dinosaurs with this cool little crest. Really goofy looking. I really like them. Very early theropod. Does it say here what period they were from? Early Jurassic, yeah, so really early dinosaur. One of the earliest theropod carnivores we would have ever had. But at that point in time, Antarctica would have been a temperate forest. It would have been a temperate, semi-cold forest, mostly boreal, kind of like what Canada is today, or Russia. it would have been comparable to those sort of biomes. So, you know, it's not as cold as it obviously is today, where it's classed as a desert. Here we have Natural History Museum Alive with David Attenborough, the GOAT. Fucking love him. He's going to die one of these days soon, and I'm going to be really, really sad about it because he's a beautiful, beautiful man, and he taught me a lot as a child. I used to watch a lot of David Attenborough growing up. I have a real passion for the natural world, and I really like to inspire that. That's actually something worth saying while I'm on the topic of dinosaurs. A lot of these books have been used because I do like dinosaur talks at kindergartens, talking about dinosaurs and I basically just talk about dinosaurs a lot. And I go around and I do talks at kindergartens, and I bring around fossils and dinosaur toys, and I pull out images from the book, and I'm just super knowledgeable about dinosaurs. Well, not super, I'm not like a genius. I know a lot for the average human being, but like paleontologists, of course, would know 10 times more than me. But like, I think on average I'm pretty smart, but I think like in my head I'm an idiot. You know what I mean? But yeah, you know, I've done a lot of dinosaur talks, and I really love to inspire that sort of passion for dinosaurs and animals and everything like that. And, you know, the person who inspired that with me was David Attenborough. And I think, like, what was that quote from him that I find is really pertinent? Like, if children don't grow up learning about nature, they won't value it. And if they don't value it, they won't protect it. And I think that's really important, as I really want to inspire that sort of interest in the natural world and dinosaurs and history. And just a lot of these things, like, even though they're really far off and in the past, I think it's really important that we keep reading about them and keep learning about them, particularly just with dinosaurs and animals. Like, it's important to know, and it's really interesting. And I'd love, you know, I see it somewhat as my job, is to, like, you know, push those sort of ideas. So, you know, I thank you so much for David Attenborough, I guess, for inspiring me. And I love this book. And I got it because I was very scared of going to the dentist when I was 11 because sensory issues. But it's a beautiful book. My mum got it for me. Here's yet another encyclopedia of dinosaurs. I have so many of these. Some of them are in the garage. There's like so many. This was from my auntie and uncle for Easter, as an Easter present. Beautiful, beautiful book. A lot of it is outdated, but it's a really beautiful book. I love the borders on it and everything. It's super pretty. I don't know how well that focuses, but, you know, really beautiful. Oh, Stegosaurus. I love Stegosaurus. Right here. My favorite. Where's Ankylosaurus? These are just sauropods. These aren't, no, none of these are Ankylosaurus. If I turn the page, is one of them an Ankylosaurus? Yeah! Ankylosaurus. Sigma. I love Ankylosaurus. Ankylosaurus get deffed. They could swing. Oh, I'm pushing on the lav. Ankylosaurus would deff the fuck out of every T-Rex. So Ankylosaurus can swing its tail at 85,000 kilojoules of force, I think. Is it kilojoules? I don't know what the word is, but 85,000 somethings of force, which is, to put that in like a frame of reference, being hit in the head with a baseball bat full force is 13. And Ankylosaurus could swing its tail at 85,000. It could absolutely liquefy your bones and body in a second. And it would dominate against a T-Rex, whose bones it could easily shatter. So it's my favorite dinosaur, if you couldn't tell by how much I'm hyping it up. Yeah, Ankylosaurus, absolute GOAT. I love Ankylosaurus so much. I have a bunch of Ankylosaurids on my shelf and just kind of all over the place. I love Ankylosaurus. He's my boy. Allow me to move on.
Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
There's going to be a lot of footage for this episode because I'm having a lot of fun. Okay, now we're on to the second shelf of the prehistoric shelf, just to the right of the previous one covered. There's one thing that's left up there because I'm not going to cover, I have a bunch of pop vinyls, I'm not going to cover all of them because one, pop vinyls are kind of cringe, and two, some of them are just very similar. So that one that is on the shelf is a Jurassic Park pop vinyl, 25th anniversary one for Dr. Alan Grant, played by Sam Neill, fellow Kiwi, love Sam Neill. Yeah, on that shelf. So that's what that is. And on the topic of it, I'm going to show off my special edition Mr. DNA, which isn't fancy or anything. I just really like him. And Mr. DNA is, of course, an iconic bloody character. And he's just really cute. And he's special edition, and I have him in a nice little box because I'm a nerd. But yeah, my dude. And then beside him, I have my copy of Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park, because, you know, what the fuck else am I going to have up next to Jurassic Park finals? I still haven't finished it, in all honesty. I haven't finished it. I haven't finished the book. I've read through like half of it, and I just haven't finished it because I'm lazy and I have a lot of books, as you will find out. But it's a really, really cool book, and I love Jurassic Park, the movie, and so far that I've gone through this, the book is cool. I think the movie does it a bit better because I don't like some parts of the book. I don't like, you know, some of the characterizations in the book. I think they differ from the movie in a way that I think makes the movie look a bit better in my eyes, but I do love the book as well. And next to, on top of my 2 pop vinyls, take a wild guess, based on everything behind me, what this is. It's a Jurassic Park T-Rex. A Lego one. I got it in like a weird Lego set they got when I was 10 because I got 100% on a literacy test I did. And my mum bought me a Jurassic Park Lego set for that because I got 100% because I'm a fucking nerd. And yeah, that concludes that shelf. So in conclusion, we have General Prehistoria and now Jurassic Park. And now time to move on to the next section, which is the spooks and the ghouls and the creatures. Okay, so, you know, throwing it back again with another pop vinyl. Yes, they're a little bit cringe, but I do like collecting them because they just have, like, characters. Like, this is Edgar Allan Poe. Where the fuck else am I going to find a figurine of Edgar Allan Poe other than a pop vinyl? You know what I mean? Like, I don't like the pop vinyl, but I do like the character. I do like the person, so it's worth getting for me. This one glows in the dark, which I think is really cute. And Edgar Allan Poe is my favourite author, as evidenced by some of the books that I have beside me. But yeah, I'll continue my conversation on Poe when I get to those books, but I think the pop vinyl is really cute, and the little skull glows in the dark. And then on top of Edgar Allan Poe, on atop a bust of Pallas, that's a reference to Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. Yeah, here's an owl, not a raven, an owl. It's a Lego one. It's a Lego set that I bought a while back. I think I bought this one while I was in... Did I get this one while I was in Auckland? I believe so, yeah. I think it's adorable, and I really like it, and it sits on my horror shelf. All of these books are like horror or like anything like semi-gothic. Sits on my horror shelf because he's kind of cute, kind of spooky, and I love Halloween. Some actual hard literature. We've covered Jurassic Park, but now we're going through some novels. We have Stephen King's It and Stephen King's Pet Sematary. Yeah, this is the original publication of It. Thankfully, I believe I didn't finish it. I was gifted this when I was 12 because I was super into It when I was a kid. Because I got into horror when I was younger. And yes, I was a creepypasta kid. But yeah, super into It. And Pet Sematary, which actually I really enjoyed Pet Sematary. I do recommend reading this book if you haven't already. I think it's done really well. I really love the way that Stephen King his characterization is really solid. And the way he writes horror is really interesting, and the way he builds up scenes is actually really tense, which I find is really effective. And yeah, I think both of these books are pretty solid. I think Pet Sematary is like a definite favorite for me, but oh yeah, oh man, look at that beautiful grainy book cover. Look how old that is. It reminds me of the old Goosebumps covers. I think it's absolutely beautiful, and I think it's really cool. And I'm really passionate about Stephen King and just books in general. I have a compilation of H.P. Lovecraft's tales because I absolutely love Lovecraftian horror and psychological horror, both of which Lovecraft does well. Of course, Lovecraft does Lovecraftian horror well because he was it was named after him. I do really love Lovecraft. I haven't gotten through all of this book either because, I mean, they're all just short stories, so I've gotten through like a lot of the main ones, but I'm still getting through his mythos and... like, of course, there's a lot of discourse about the fact that he was kind of racist, which, like, yeah, that's true. However, I really enjoy his books as well. You know, unfortunately, a real separate the art from the artist case, but oh my god, his books are really, really good. I mean, like, I recently rewatched The Lighthouse by Robert Eggers in anticipation for Nosferatu as well. But, like, oh my god. I hopefully will make a video on Nosferatu, but, like, oh my god. The Lighthouse is so good. Like, I love psychological horror. I love how tense it is. I love, especially in a literary fashion, I love how much can be conveyed psychologically through words, how much tone and sense can just be dripping off the page. It's really, really impressive, and I love when it's done right, and Lovecraft does that very, very well. My goat, these are different books, I swear, even though they're both titled The Raven, because it's his biggest story. 2 copies, 2 individual Edgar Allan Poe compilations. I bought most of what is in this one. I bought this for like 3 stories though, because this one has one of my favorite Edgar Allan Poe stories, The Pit and the Pendulum, which I should not have been reading. Little backstory here, 12-year-old me walked into my middle school library and I pulled out a Edgar Allan Poe book. First story I read was The Pit and the Pendulum and A Cask of Amontillado. Both stories, 12-year-old me should not have been reading. However, I fell in love with his literary style ever since then. Edgar Allan Poe is such a fantastic writer. I wrote a lot of essays in high school about his work. I think, you know, his literary style is so beautiful, and like his use of assonance and rhyme to kind of build up a lot of tension and like to really put you in the shoes of like the psychological horror and the horror of the situations that he puts his characters in. It's just really cool, and I love his work. It's very gothic, it's very horror, it's very a lot of things I like. So if you ever get a chance, pick up an Edgar Allan Poe book. They're really good reads. Another fantastic piece of gothic literature. I've been absolutely infatuated with this book ever since I was like I think I got it when I was like 12 or 11. This book is so beautiful, and I had no clue. I picked it out of a crowd in like a bargain bin at like a local like Paper Plus like bookstore. Oh my god, it is so beautiful. It's so pretty. No one talks about it. I've never been able to find anything online about it other than an interview, but it's so beautiful. The book is just absolutely fucking dripping with style. It's so nice. It's just absolutely fantastic to read. You know, another one of my favorite graphic novel authors, Alan Moore, on the front here says it's wonderfully imaginative and stylish. I love Alan Moore. I love his work on The Killing Joke. But it's just so beautiful and pretty. And if you like weird, spiritual, goofy, gothic literature, please find a copy on like Amazon or something, or just wherever you can get it, or, you know, just read it online. However you can get your hands on it, please read it, because it's a really good read. It's pretty short, and it's just, yeah, it's really fun. It's a really good book. Check it out, definitely. Here we have the somewhat more like occult and like spooky section of the side. So again, like beside all the gothic stories and horror, we have spooky occult stuff, which I think is rather fitting. Again, covering pop vinyls first to get them out of the way. Michael Myers, Halloween, one of my favorite horror movies. Just an absolute hood classic, you know. Halloween is just such a good movie. It's so good. And yeah, it's not that like impressive by our standards, but it's set up slashers, and it's really cool, and Michael Myers, he's awesome. Beside that, I have 3 books and a bunch of tarot cards, which I'll get into. But the 3 books I do have are Into the Unknown. This book I took home from my middle school library and forgot to return. But it's a really good book, and I'm so happy that I still have it in my possession, because oh boy, it's so cool. And this stuff just totally sparked my imagination for everything spooky and weird and macabre as a child. You know, like 12-year-old me, which is absolutely enthralled with this book. You know, it literally, like, as it says on the cover, telepathy, unidentified flying objects, astrology, reincarnation, extrasensory perception, psychokinesis, spirit photography, clairvoyance, astral flight, possession, exorcism, magic, healing, spiritualism, witchcraft, monsters, ghosts, and poltergeists. Whew. Oh, some real good hobbies. There's just, yeah, such cool artwork in here, and like the pages and everything. It just really spoke to me, like as a kid, like being super enthralled with the mythos of monsters. And as I've gotten older, you know, coming to learn like the socioeconomic and kind of like the background of why we believe in monsters and why we create monsters in our society. It's super, super interesting, and I just can't, you know, special interest is the only word that can possibly cover it. You know, this is the Tibetan wheel of life and reincarnation. Similarity to my Purbadega from Uncharted 2. Tibetan Buddhism is a religion that I personally do subscribe to. Not like fully, but I'm super interested in it, and I do think about it a lot. But yeah, it's just, yeah, man. I could talk about this book for days, and I am so thankful for how much it's taught me over the years and how much it kind of set up my love and passion for this sort of stuff. This is a book that one of my good friends got me from Bookhaven in Wellington, and it is The Practice of Astrology, which I don't really practice very much anymore, but it is a really cool book, and I am known for it. And here is the Book of Demonology by King James I. This is where I learned a lot of the Old English that I do enjoy partaking in. It's 75 pages long, and it's written in really, really, really Old English. Let me read an excerpt. What sort of folks are least or most subject to receive harm by witchcraft? What power they have to harm the magistrate? And upon what respects they have any power in prison? And to what end may or will the devil appear to them therein? Upon what respects the devil appears in sundry shapes, to sundry of them at any time. Yeah, written really weirdly. It's hard to read still. But it's super cool, and you learn a lot of cool words like axiom and theology, and I remember that's kind of like when I was like, I think I got this when I was 14, 13. That's when I started learning a lot of that sort of, you know, weird nerd shit. Let's get into some tarot stuff here. Here is my very first pack, the original AE White, Rider White tarot card pack. The OG, if you will. You know what? Let's do a card pull just for funsies. Yo ancestors, dap me up. Yo ancestors, give me a good card. Give me a card that's indicative of how well this video is gonna do. How about that? How about that, huh, pal? Give me something that's indicative of how this video is gonna do. Come on, give me something. Queen of Cups. I can't put down the cup. Give me a second to look at my manual, because I can't do it off the top of my head. I'm not that good of a reader. Queen. I'm a queen. Queen. She is beautiful, fair, dreamy, as one who sees vision in a cup. Divinatory meanings. Good, fair woman. Honest, devoted woman, who will do service to the querent. Loving intelligence, and hence the gift of vision. Success, happiness, pleasure. Also wisdom, virtue. Well, aren't I just fucking cool? Either way, that was fun. That's a cute little card pull. Yeah, I got super into reading tarot when I was younger, and when my auntie moved back to New Zealand, where I live now, she kind of hooked me up, and I found out that she was into a lot of this stuff, you know, before I even got into it, and I didn't even know when I was getting into it, which is kind of cool. And she made me this, actually, which is a tarot reading mat. It's in a very nice color with a very lovely pattern, and my favorite animal, the bear, on the corner. It's lovely, and you know, I read cards on it whenever I can. It's got a little stain on there. Oh, that sucks. But I read cards on it wherever I can. I think it's really pretty. I like how it looks. And I love that it has a bear on it because that is, you know, bears are my favorite animal. Bears are super duper pretty. I love a bear. And then the other cards I have, I'll just run through quickly. I have a pack for traveling with cards, just a little satchel that you can zip up. This is a crystal. I don't know what crystal was in there, and I'm not going to open it. But I have a pack that is Tattoo Tarot, and I have a pack of Earth Magic Oracle cards. I do like Oracle cards quite a bit. But yeah, these two are swag and awesome. This is really swag and bodacious and cool and shit. And then I have the rest of my packs downstairs, but these are just the ones that are on my shelf. Now this is my last shelf that contains a lot of books that I really want to comment on today. But there are more shelves. I have many, many more shelves. So if you want me to make another video on these, totally will. Let me know in the description, in the comments down below. You can't write in the description, you're just a little dude. Let me know in the comments down below and I'll be happy to make another video on these. I love talking about stuff that I like. And if there's anything specifically from this video that you'd like to hear more about, I am so totally like open to suggestions. Tell me, please. I will make an entire video just like talking for like half an hour about any of these things. But yeah, this is my final shelf. This is all nature and history and philosophy and psychology, you know, all that sort of fun stuff. But first things first, this doesn't really have anything to do specifically with this shelf, but I have good old Dr. Zeus, and you're supposed to pronounce it Zeus. But I just, you know, again, another author that's a little bit racist, but like, I love his books. I love his books, and Dr. Zeus is very inspiring to me personally in terms of like personal inspiration and just being like creative and, you know, living life how you kind of want to. And, you know, a person's a person no matter how small is something that I quote quite often. And yeah, you have a brain in your head and feet in your shoes. Steer yourself in whatever direction you choose. Here is the, going along with the Green Dinosaur book, here is the complete book of animals. This is the counterpart to the book I brought up a few sections ago. This has a lot of animals in it. Where's a good animal? Here we go, some good animals. Maned wolf, beautiful, beautiful animal. A maned wolf. We have a lion, a cheetah, Eurasian lynx, caracal. Love caracals. Got big hops. That's my Xbox. Narwhal, white big dolphin. The common seal. Come on, basic bitch. Yeah, fantastic book. I love this book to bits. Again, another book that I read a lot as a kid. And sitting beside it, we have The Living Planet by David Attenborough, which I found for $2 at a thrift shop. It's split up by different areas, like the sky above and the northern forests and say like seas of grass and I think like the margins of the land. It's split up by like the open ocean by like biome, and it's just a really interesting book and I've had a lot of fun reading it in the past. There's a nice little cover on it and everything. But yeah, it's an old book, but I'm very fond of it and I've read it a lot. Getting to the end here. Come on, guys. We have Love, Medicine, and Miracles by Bernie Siegel. I still am getting through this, but it's a really, really cool book about, I think it's like it comes at healing from like a very holistic angle. Lessons learned about self-healing from a surgeon's experience with exceptional patients. Unconditional love is the most powerful stimulant of the immune system. The truth is, love heals. Miracles happen to exceptional patients every day. Patients who have the courage to love. Those who have the courage to work with their doctors to participate and influence in their own recovery. It's basically about like holistic recovery from different illnesses and ailments. Really good book. I really like that holistic philosophy of healing. I went to medical school, not for humans, for dogs. I was training to be a vet before I dropped out for personal reasons. But yeah, I mean, really good book. And I think I really like the philosophies that it brings forward, and it's been a good read so far. Here is a book that I've owned since I was very young, Native American Myths and Legends. I have been very, very, very interested in just Native American culture and like myth and mythos ever since I was very, very, very young, like 5 or 4 when I watched the second Balto. Like a lot of the imagery just really struck home with me for some reason, and that's an image of it. A lot of the imagery just really like struck home with me. Boom. Boy, you got a big ass forehead, raggedy ass looking ass motherfucker. Yeah, I mean, just a lot of the culture is really beautiful, and it, you know, I've referenced this in you know, essays that I've written. It's a really interesting book. The Politics book by DK. This is an interesting book. I really like a lot of the things that it kind of puts forward, especially like let me just throw out some quotes so I can, you know, you can get an idea of what I agree with and what I found from this book. In the beginning, everything was common to all. Sovereignty is not given, it is taken. I agree with that one very heavily. Liberators do not exist, the people liberate themselves. These are, you know, ideas that are, I think are really important. And, you know, I love reading about politics and sociology and all that sort of nerd shit. I mean, it's not really nerd shit anymore, saying that it affects every facet of our lives and, you know, we must organize. And I'm going to stop myself here before I go down a rabbit hole. Here is the final book, which I was gifted by my college librarian, my university librarian, because I said that I wanted to go into social work when I was older, and she said, oh, that's great, that's very sweet. We've had this book sitting here for a while that I didn't want to get rid of because it's a good book, but here's a massive textbook about social work, and she gave it to me for free because she's a sweetie pie. I miss her. I used to love going to the library and having chats with her. But yeah, fantastic book. I, again, haven't read all of it. There's so many of these I haven't read. But yeah, good book. I'm still reading it. It's about social work. Duh. But yeah, good book. And so, that brings us to the end of this video. It was nice to make a video just talking about what I actually want to talk about for once. I had a lot of fun making this video. If you want me to talk about anything more in depth, which I totally can, let me know in the comments below. Please like and subscribe to this video. Yeah, chuck me a like if you enjoyed. No obligation to if you didn't know. I assume if you've watched this far though, you know, chuck me a like and subscribe. That would be very sweet. It'd be very kind of you. But yeah, I would like to go through more of the much shit I have on my shelves. So yeah, let me know if you want me to. And other than that, I think this video is done. Have a fantastic day. I hope you're all doing well. Peace, guys.